That's the, how you doing?
Yeah. I thought you were retired.
No, not yet.
Oh, you back? They had you back.
They probably would do that. Let's see. Michelle Pro? Yeah. Other two are at different conferences. Representing us well. We've been out there, but it's just. Moving. Great public hearing. Spoke well. It's oh, this is a family. Our blessing. Okay, it is 10 o'clock and we will call to order the July 21st, 2022 administrative meeting of the Houston County Commission. Glad you all to be here today. As you can see, we have a short in number, but well represented commission today. Commissioner Shoup is at the National County Officials meeting representing Houston County, and Commissioner Singfield is at the RC, I believe it's the Wiregrass, I mean not Wiregrass, the state RCMP, I think, or is it anyway, he's at a statewide meeting representing Houston County on both boards. But I know Commissioner Singfield will be back Monday. Commissioner Shoup will still be out of town. Any announcements really? Does anybody have any announcements they'd like to make? No. No? Okay. Well, then we will get right into the agenda. The first item to be considered for the agenda on Monday is our favorite thing to do every year, and that's the recognition of the Houston County Queens. We'll have, I think there are 5 or 6 categories of queens that we'll have here. It's always fun to have them come and introduce themselves and meet the young ladies that represent Houston County every year. They will be here on Monday, and we will have that opportunity to not only meet them, but thank them for their service, and wish them the 2 that will be participating in Peanut, wish them the very best. That's always a fun meeting. So we'll have them here on Monday if there's no objection to adding that to the agenda.
No objection.
All right, on the regular agenda, the first item is a request to approve a resolution amending CDBG, I said that backwards, COVID-19 grants CVNC 20037. Emily is here with regional planning and will come to the podium. She will tell you, I'm sure, we had a public hearing in advance of this meeting to discuss this, and we'll tell you what we're amending, and then if you have questions for Sean about what we're doing, we can go there. Emily?
Good morning.
Good morning.
As you will recall, we had at, I believe it was your previous work session and commission meeting, we discussed amending the existing COVID-19 grant that the county was allocated $400,000 from the state, from ADECA. And as part of that process, we have to do a formal amendment to amend the project scope, which includes having a public hearing, which we had at 9:30. And then it includes, the commission has to pass a resolution in support of amending the project. And if you'll recall, we had initially, the project scope included construction of the PPE storage warehouse out at the Road and Bridge Department. Due to the excessive cost of that, it's been decided that we're going to change the project scope to something that's a little bit more in line with the funding. And it also has to be in line with COVID. You have to, it has to be COVID related. So that's what this resolution will cover. It is going to be to put in actually retrofitting, and Sean can tell more about it than I can, but it's going to be retrofitting the laboratories to make where they're limited touch in the corrections facility, community corrections facility. It's not completely touchless, but it certainly limits their touch, the time that they touch, and that people would come into contact with you won't have turn valves anymore. It'll just simply be a push of the little button, and that'll limit the contact that the I guess inmates have, as well as the maintenance workers also.
Right, as you know, COVID is transmitted a lot by touch, and so this limits that, and this qualifies for the use of this grant.
That's right.
So, this is, I think the cost of this is around
68, a little under $70,000.
So this will not use all of the funds that we have left. Didn't use on the building, but we're working to try to find items that we can use the other 40-ish, 40,000-ish, and we will come back before you all with whatever we come up on that we can use those funds for, and just like we are today, present that for approval once we figure out what those funds will be used for. But today is just for the laboratory, roughly around $70,000. Any questions for Emily or Sean regarding this? Objection to adding this to the agenda? No objection. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. My name is George Trotter, reside at 4218 County Road 203, Dothan, Alabama 36301. My question that I asked the last time, and I didn't make the official meeting, the last Monday meeting, so I don't know what you approved. And maybe she said it. What have we done on the quote PPE storage building? Where are we on that? And she may have explained that I couldn't hear it. And again, my question was, the people have a question out here. And I know the gentleman, EMA guy said, oh, we can't, there's stuff in there we can't tell the public about that's going to be in this quote storage building. That's fine. But we want to know in general what we're talking about relative to PPE. It's all COVID related, spending our tax dollars again, chasing an unknown. Okay, so the question is this: the PPE, who has access to this PPE? And most people's perception of PPE is personal protective equipment. So if you go into an area where there's danger and all, you have the appropriate equipment to put on. Is that, can you explain that a little bit better, please?
Well, we're moving the building that we are not funding out to the larger building we're constructing with ARPA funds. To move the items that are currently at the farm center to. We're just gonna put it on the end of that, and it's gonna cost, by all accounts, much less. There's more than just PPE, and Chris explained all of that last meeting about what all was in there, so.
And there were certain things in there that the public didn't need to know about. We
And
understand.
there's things in there additional to just PPE stuff.
Yeah. So just to be clear, we're building a building.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
No objections being now on the agenda.
No.
All right, item number 2 is a request to approve resolution authorizing application for industrial access funds. Matt Parker is here, and every time Matt shows up, I always say that means we're creating jobs usually, so we usually don't mind you being here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Of course, I've got my teammate here, Colton Curitan, that works very closely on our economic development efforts as well. And before you, we have a request to authorize the chairman to sign an industrial access application. We have economic development projects in the Hodgesville Inez Road area, codenamed Project Palm collectively, that we're working on, and because of their timeline and the confidentiality that we have with them and the Alabama Department of Commerce who we're working with on these projects, we had to code name it similar to what we did the FedEx project as Project Camp. And so because of the timelines and when they want to have things up and implemented, we had to apply for industrial access funding and get that in there by August 4th. Barkley, Tyler, Ashley team, Houston County Road and Bridge, worked very closely to help us with the estimate. We've coordinated that with the clients, and we want to be in a position to get that up there and get that finalized. The clients have told us to press ahead and go with it. Again, it'll be multi-million-dollar investments and probably pretty close to 100 additional jobs for economic development, and open up some more opportunity for us for some property as well as meet the needs for these projects. So we're requesting to move forward on that. And again, appreciate all the great work the county does to promote economic development. We're really excited about a lot of good things. And, Colton and I are getting ready for another good site visit on the spec building that is under construction. So a lot of moving parts, a lot of good things going on. So we're excited about it. Try to keep it rolling.
Y'all are doing a good job. You're keeping us busy. And good or bad, but
We'd like to keep it less busy maybe sometimes
Well,
without
no,
intensive schedule
we're
requirements.
creating jobs and opportunity for our citizens. I don't know that we want to be less busy. I mean, that's what we ought to be about. You're doing a good job of doing that.
We appreciate you guys.
So let me be sure. So what we're approving is the resolution authorizing the chairman to sign the application for the funds, and then you'll come back before us once we get plans and all that, I guess, to actually approve the work, assuming we get the funds.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were to be denied that, we'd have a different discussion probably. So,
Right.
for that. All right. Everybody understand that? I think we're almost done at the spec building, so. Yeah, with that. So, any questions for Matt regarding this? Say about 100 jobs.
Ballpark, yeah.
Question? Any objection to adding this to the agenda?
No objection.
Thank you.
Mr. Parker. Item number 3 is request to approve interlocal agreement between the city of Dothan, Dale County, and Houston County for the 2022 Burn Justice Assistant Grant. Request from the Sheriff's Department. You want to make comments?
Morning, Chairman and Commissioners.
Morning.
What this is the grant that we do yearly. And for the last 4, 5, 6 years that I recall, we've been using this grant to purchase in-car cameras, and we will do that again this year. The portion we get this year is $9,870.72, which will outright buy 2, and then we'll make up the difference and buy additional. But this is where we utilize these funds.
This is pretty normal and customary now. We share
It
this
is.
every year, I think.
Yes.
Dale County always been part of it, or it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just
Well,
it's shared with.
I know they become part of it. I know last year with Dothan being involved with the aviation unit, they contribute their part of the grant. That's my understanding. And we have been doing that since Sheriff Hughes was in office,
Right.
is when we started being part of the aviation.
The Dale County Airport.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, this is pretty normal and customary. Glad we can work with those other entities to do this. So any questions for Major Rafferty? Okay, all right, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He can stay right there. He need to answer the question. What kind of money are we looking at budget? We're looking at for these cameras through the sheriff's department,
The
roughly
grant is $9,800.
9,800. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Any objection to adding that to the agenda? No objection. Okay, thank you. Next item for consideration is a request to award bid for body worn camera for the sheriff's department and jail department. Right.
Yes, sir. We sent out bids for the body worn cameras for the jail and for our deputies. It is vital for the safety of our deputies, allegations, court cases, court calls, all that. We have sent it out and we had several return. We want to accept the bid, or I'm asking you to accept the bid from Angel Tracks, which is a local company. We do business with them. Actually, that's where we buy our in-car cameras. Their bid come in at $135,549 for 250 body worn cameras, and then all the accessories and parts that we need to go with them. The other bids were $735,000, $615,000. The biggest part of the additional cost is the storage, because we can't just keep it for 30 days. We have to keep it because time limit, I think, on federal is 2 years from jail lawsuits filed. So we need to keep all that. And Angel Tracks, my understanding, has their own storage, and therefore it's $4,500 a year, and there'll be a recurring cost.
So you mean data storage?
That's correct.
All right.
Video storage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But it's still way under what everybody else had turned.
All right, any questions for Major Rafferty regarding this? Any objections?
One more.
Adding that to the agenda?
Comments, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Don't comment on everything today?
Yeah, probably so. Needs to be commented on. A little bit concerned about the meeting y'all came out of before you came in here, but anyway. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the point I want to ask about. I want to ask about the.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Don't be coming to the podium making accusations that you don't know what you're talking about, okay? Just come and make your comment.
Okay, I'm coming to make my comment. I have a question. If you think you can get it answered, okay? What percentage of our total Houston County budget goes through the sheriff's department?
I don't know, I have to look that up. Thank you.
Would you look that up and report back at the next meeting, please, sir, for us, the people?
All right.
You might? Okay. Well, I love, the people want to know that. And my understanding is,
You're the
sir,
only person that wants to know that, to be honest.
no, I don't think you're wrong. You need to get in tune. Get out of your bubble. Get out here across the county. I got one more question. Yeah, I want to make a comment first about the perception out here, and the numbers we have is that before this investment, this was actually 4 years ago, over 1/3 of the total Houston County budget went through the sheriff's department.
Well, so you already did
And that is a concern to the people in Houston County, I promise.
Are you saying we're not spending enough on law enforcement in Houston?
No, we're spending, our law enforcement is great in Houston County, our sheriff's department and all that. What I'm saying is that we keep spending. The sheriff's department keeps asking for more and more money, more and more people, and we're not seeing a whole lot improvement from those dollars.
So you're anti-law enforcement, what you're saying. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to say that, sir, yeah.
All right, any objection to adding this to the agenda? Okay. All right, item number 5, request to extend the bid award date for the full body X-ray scanner for Houston County Jail pending review and authorization from ACCA Legal Department. No objection.
Okay. First, item number 4 and item number 5 are in our budget.
Right.
This is not anything extra we're asking for.
Right.
Now, with that being said, on this matter, we did send bids out. We did receive one back. And it's within the allotted amount that was approved for budget. We have reached out and I've been speaking with Meg Fiddler, I believe it is. She is an attorney with ACCA.
Right.
Because of this project, we want to be sure everything is done in compliance of Alabama law. So therefore, in speaking to her, the last conversation we had, everything's looking good. She's reached out to who she needed to with the health department to be sure we were in guidelines. And what we're doing now is we're working with her to put together a policy that will be sure that we follow everything the way we're supposed to and keep us within the guidelines to save us from foolish lawsuits.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
forth. So that's why we asked for the extension, but she said everything's looking good as far as how it was bid, the product itself and everything else. But I just want to bring that to your attention, Chairman.
Good, thank you. All right, no objection to adding that to the agenda. Okay. All right, item number 6, request to authorize a resolution and approve sub-recipient agreement to expend ARPA funds for the Houston County Water Authority infrastructure project. Mr. Coder.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is a momentous.
Speak into the
moment.
mic, please.
This is a momentous moment for the county, as this is the first of soon to be many ARPA projects to expend funds from the federal government for the citizens on infrastructure and COVID mitigation. This particular project is, as you may recall, the project running the water main down 231 to the industrial park. And as I've mentioned in previous meetings, it is a slow and very comprehensive process to get to this point. But this project has been reviewed and approved as eligible. And we're asking now that the commission commit these funds and enter into a subrecipient agreement with the subrecipient, which is Houston County Water Authority. There are guidelines and procedures that are in place in the agreement to ensure that the project stays within compliance with the federal regulations and guidelines. And this is a reimbursement method rather than a funding method, so that we will be able to make sure that the funds are expended appropriately before they're reimbursed to the subrecipient.
Okay. Yeah, this is the first project that we ever started talking about when we started discussing ARPA funds. And as Peter said a lot nicer than I would have, this process is very, very cumbersome. The federal government has a lot of regulations and hoops and bureaucracy that we have to meet and requirements, as you all know, in discussions. They're not just writing us a check for $20 million and saying, here, go spend this money on anything you want to. There are certain things that this money can be spent on. And we have to be sure that everything we spend it on will meet federal muster, because all these funds are subject to federal audit individually. So that's why we engaged the folks in Montgomery to oversee this process. It certainly makes the process slow, and we've been working on this project for how long have we had this fund? A year? Over a year, huh?
Yes,
Yeah,
we have
so-
had them over a year.
Yeah, And so we're just now, this is, as he said, the first project we've really gotten to the point of funding, and it is exciting that we are finally doing that. We aren't just gonna, as Peter said, I think this is a $5 million project. We're not just gonna write the water authority a $5 million check. It is reimbursable funds. If they are reimbursable funds, so they will submit. We will make sure that all expenses are accurate and done according to the requirements. And we will reimburse, but it's good that we've finally gotten to this point, and certainly our partnership with the water authority, doing not only the line down there, but a tank that will serve their entire system, is good for our citizens and good for the water system as we move forward, which has been our intent. Most of these ARPA funds is to create infrastructure that'll serve our citizens for years to come. So glad this day has come, and or actually Monday would be the actual day, but glad we were able to do or are able to do this. So, questions or comments? I know this serves your area.
It does serve my area. And Mr. Chairman, I'll tell you, I'm excited. This is something that we've been working on, I think, actually for 2 years, talking about infrastructure going in place down there at the industrial park. But that's going to open up opportunities down 231 South, as well as all the way to the state line where the industrial park is. And I've always said, creating jobs creates sustainable revenue. And that's what the goal is to eventually create jobs, to have sustainable revenue here in Houston County. And Mr. Parker and Colton and them working on that very hard at the chamber. You know, you see things happening and coming to fruition right here in Houston County and south of Houston County and in my district. And it's great to see that happening. So I appreciate it. And it's awesome to see this happen. So no objection from me on that, by the way, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other comments? All right.
Mr. Gerald?
Any objection to adding this to the agenda? All right, yes, sir.
You don't mind me making a comment, asking a question? Wow, I'm so glad to hear my commissioner in District 3 is excited about jobs, something that's, pertaining to jobs. My question about this infrastructure of this water project has been going on for a while, and I understand this detail when you're dealing with the federal government. Currently, and show my ignorance when I ask this question, but that's not all bad to be ignorant, but not to try to get informed is bad. So I'm trying to get informed and inform the public. Is this project, and do we have, or is it going to put water on both sides of 231 South?
I think that was asked before, and I don't recall if we ever found that question or not. I know it's running down one side, but I believe it is going to serve both sides, or can. Let me say that. I think it can serve both sides. Yeah.
But is that in the project, in the money that we're talking about to put that line, 8-inch line or whatever it is, underneath 231 to come on the west side?
Oh, it's a 16-inch line.
16-inch line, that's the main, yeah.
Down to the rest area, I believe, is where it changes. But you would need to ask the water authority that. I don't want to say yes and it be wrong. I don't want to give you a wrong answer. And honestly, I don't know the answer to that.
But we, the county commission, is funding this to the water authority, correct? I mean, it's going through.
That's correct. But
Right. So we should be interested in knowing and basically say, hey, we want to make sure in this project that this water access is on both sides of 231 going south.
Well, we're not going to tell them how to do their jobs. They're the water authority. They handle water. This is their request. We're just providing the funds.
But they work for the public, the people of Houston County, just like y'all.
They do.
Keep that in mind, yeah.
They do.
But anyway, that answers my question. We don't know. And we've asked that question before and have gotten basically the same answer. Well, we don't know. Can you find that out for us,
Did you ask
sir?
the water authority?
Can you find, I'm asking the county commission to find out if the water line, water access under this project that he's gone over, through this funding, federal funding, is it going to put water equally on both sides of 231 South?
Okay. I suggest you call the water authority and see if they give you that answer. Okay. Any other questions? Any objection to adding that to the agenda? Okay. Item number 7, request to approve cost of living adjustment effective with payroll beginning August 1st, 2022, and obligate SSUT funds for current and future increases. This is a pretty significant item on our agenda today. As you all recall, we had Chief Administrative Officer had a budget meeting with department heads and elected officials, I guess it's been about a month ago now. And when we have that meeting, we go through and hear from our departments of requests for both manpower and capital. And during that discussion, I think almost every department talked about their inability to hire people and their inability to fill openings. And we hear it from personnel, we hear it from pretty much every department that we've got. We currently have 45 vacancies in our staff. That's an 11% vacancy rate in Houston County. That is completely not satisfactory. We're almost to the point that it's become difficult to provide the services that we need to provide. I know all of you commissioners call on Barclay, call on the Sheriff's Department, call on probate to do things, and many times just don't have the personnel to do it because we have so many vacancies. We compete with other counties, with private sector, with the city of Dothan. And I know in this coming budget, we are going to, the intent is to put our regular pay study that we do every 4 years, but I think in our discussions with Peter and I, and then bringing you all in, we just felt like that based on what we were hearing from department heads and from personnel, we could not wait on that personnel study to take some kind of action. We felt like that with the inflation rate is what it is, with the vacancy rate at what it is, we needed to take an immediate action. Peter and I and Commissioner Shute have been working hard over the last several weeks to try to move some funds around, frankly, to look at requests. And honestly, our position is we feel like we need to take care of our people before we buy new stuff. I've talked to several of you and asked that you tell us what we could push back a year possibly on some things, and you all have been very responsive. But we want to propose at Monday's meeting a cost of living increase for our employees and for vacant positions effective August 1st. We want it to be one of enough that we can go out in the marketplace and fill some of these positions. We'll make a motion on Monday that'll have what that percentage is. We've talked about everything from 5 to 7.5 to 9 to 10. We'll make that in the motion on Monday. The cost of living in southern states is just a little over 9% for the last year. So we want to put on the agenda to take this aggressive action to try to stem this loss of employees. 45 vacancies, and some of these things, these are not just labor. These are, I mean, they're all important, don't get me wrong, but some of these things are positions. I mean, we've been trying to, Bruce is back there, we've been trying to hire an IT person for, I don't know how long. We've been trying to hire a person up in accounting, deputies. I mean, it's all across the board. Burton Bridge has got whole crews not being filled. We've got to try to address that, and it's just important that we take care of our people before we get to a point we can't provide county services. So Monday, if you all would agree to put this on the agenda, we'll consider trying to take proactive proactive steps to address that. And I will tell you, this, as it says on the agenda, we're trying to focus our SSUT funds toward that end. Over the last 2 years, our SSUT funds have grown about $1.5 million. We can commit those funds to this, and along with some other cuts in the budget requests, and some funds that are currently in our reserves that you all have done a good job of budgeting, and frankly, you as department heads have done a good job of not spending. We can afford to do this, and frankly, when we do our pay study next year, and you all implement it, I won't be here, but when y'all implement it, it's going to be a big fight, and I think it's going to be way more difficult to eat that whole elephant next year. So I think at least we can take a bite out of that elephant now. So that's my thoughts on that, and I would refer to you all and ask that you would consider putting this on the agenda for Monday, and let's try to address this concern that we have for our employees. Any comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna say, I've been in a one term of office and going in my second term. And I'm gonna tell you, it's been a struggle the whole time, the revenue within the county. Every time you turn around, you hear the road and bridge, you hear the sheriff's office, you hear the probate office and different things, and hey, we need help. We're also, and it's not knocking them, they're doing great, but the city of Dothan, we're competing against the city of Dothan. And, with employees and employment and stuff, but, just going back to law enforcement, you think they're starting theirs out at $52,000 a year, and here we are, and we're only able to afford to start ours out around 36, I believe, thousand a year, but you're talking about a $16,000 difference of being able to get a law enforcement officer, or even retain, and retaining is a big issue as well, not just filling those seats, but retaining those folks. And, when you got competition right across the way, and of course, they've got a lot larger budget, a lot more revenue to deal with than we do. It makes it very, very difficult for us to be able to meet those needs. And, it is what it is. And for many years, we have not looked at revenue within the county, and looked at different things that we've had to do. I think since the early 90s, really and truly, look back at it. And, nobody wants to talk about revenue or tax increases or property taxes. It's just where we're at today. We've got to figure out how to take a big bite out of that apple, to get back where we need to be. And I'm the first one to tell you, I don't like taxes, don't want to pay taxes. And, but there's some things that we've got to look at, and we've got to look long and hard at to try to figure out what we're going to do with revenue. Now, the SSUT is growing, yes it is, but it's not growing as fast as it needs to be for us to catch up where we need to be. And that is helping tremendously. But, after talking to department heads, talking to the public and different things going on, people want their driveway pipes put in, they want that to go back, and their big driveway pipes put in. But when you got 8 to 10 employees sitting out here and they're putting in driveway pipes throughout the week, and you got roads that you have potholes in, and there's damaged roads and roads that's not being able to be taken care of because you don't have the employees to continue to work that, it makes it difficult. So you have to make some cuts sometimes and make tough decisions, which we had to do about a year ago and stop doing the driveway pipes. But, people on I say on the outside, a lot of times they don't understand. And I think that, me as a commissioner, number one, I need to do a better job of maybe letting the public know where we're staying and where we're at. But, it's always open to, it's always open. Everything is public record. Anybody can come up here and grab whatever they need to, or get a copy of paperwork, and of course, pay for that paperwork just like anybody else has to, because that paper costs money. But, you come up here and get what you want. There's nothing hidden up here at Houston County Commission. There's nothing that's under the table going on or anything like that. We have auditors come in, we're held accountable for everything we do. So, I say all that to say that we're doing everything that we possibly can. And if you don't have the employees to put in those seats, that equipment's no good. So you've got to take care of your employees first and have employees to put people in those seats of the equipment for the road and bridge department, or the equipment for the sheriff's office, or put people in the seats at the probate tag office, or whatever it is. You've got to have the employees to put there. And we're growing at I believe, I've been here my whole life, 47 years old. We're growing at a rate, really and truly, that is just, it's amazing to see what's all transpired and taking place. in my lifetime of being here in Houston County, we're growing. And, you know, I say that to say that we've got to take care of the employees, the 400-something employees that we do take care of. It's got to be taken care of. If not, they're gonna go to other places. And you can't blame a lot of younger families and young married couples for going for more money because they got to take care of their families, you know? But that being said, I think it's very important that we look long and hard at how we do things and being able to get the revenue and being able to figure out how to take care of our employees and be able to be competitive with those other places. So we can get the work done for the citizens and the public out here. They want the work done. And, you know, so I think it's great that we're gonna be able to look at doing something with a COLA now and of course as well, be able to do something maybe mid of the year next year, beginning of next year, you know, and be able to look at things. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it, and I'm looking forward to being able to do something to help our employees.
Any comments from you, sir?
You did a great job. I just reiterate, I was smiling when it comes to, you know, all those truths, you know, and we're gonna lose a lot of county services that we really don't step up our cost of living. I was looking at historically data last week, several meetings that I had, we're behind now 17%. 17%. That's an astronomical number comparing city and county services throughout. With the city going for another 4%, put us about 21%. Really think that we need to do something now. Me personally, I know I don't have the hot my agenda. I'll be comfortable with somewhere 7.5% to 9% cost of living adjustment. I think that's what we should do.
Okay, couple more things. I meant, Commissioner Shoup, as you know, couldn't be here, but as almost chairman-elect, not quite chairman-elect, he wanted his thoughts on the record, so he left a statement I want to read. He said, "I regret not being at today's meeting, but I wanted on the record that I am in favor of this pay increase. Our employees are facing an ever-increasing cost of living, and if we are to maintain a quality workforce, we must pay a fair market wage. As we move forward, we will actively monitor events as they unfold in this rapidly changing labor market." I do want to say, both of y'all mentioned the city, and while we do compete with the city, we can't, you know, when we do our study next year, or y'all do your study next year, you know, while the city is a factor, we have to monitor, we have to take into consideration other counties, private sector, whatever is in the study. We can't just look at the city. I mean, we'll never be able to keep up with the city. They have an unlimited source of money. And I say that if Kevin or the mayor was sitting here, but certainly that's we can keep the gap as small as it can be. We get into it, you know, they go up, we go up, they go up, and I've tasked Peter to try to get with their city manager and let's try to get on a, you know, more smooth fluctuation table with them so that we adjust pay together rather than in, you know what I mean? They, just like you just said, they did it, or one of y'all said, they did I don't know, some kind of cost of living a while back, and now we're gonna do one, and next year they'll, you know, we need to try to think about it together, but yet when we do our pay study, we need to include other comparable counties and others, and so I just don't want it to just focus on the city, because they get a lot. The only thing they don't, we just can't compete with them. So anyway, I hope you all, I hear what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. I hope the department head will understand this is very expensive to do, and we just think it's very important, and you know, so takes the cutting of some other things, but you know, we'll get back in the norm of that once we get this taken care of and get some people and move forward with that. So objections adding that to the agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
No objections. I've got one more comment.
Okay.
At our question.
All right.
You know, some people were talking about a pay study, and I've had several people asking questions, why do we do a pay study? Why do we do a pay study? Why do we why do we spend, and some people just, I think they're just misinformed, they don't understand, but they think you spend, you do a pay study and you spend $2 million on a pay study. Well, that might be what's implemented after the pay study because of the, what you have to do to get people where it needs to be as far as money goes. But a pay study in general, on average, what does a pay study cost? Just to let the,
$15,000 to $20,000,
okay.
something like that. It just depends on how much and what you do in the study. And the reason we do a pay study every 4 years is because, we have a scale, with steps, and then we do some cost of living, but sometimes, like now, the real cost of living will outpace your, what we do. So a pay study will take, a probate clerk's job, I'm just using that, and evaluate that against other probate clerks around the state, or a deputy's job, and evaluate that against other counties around the state and the city of Dothan, or a maintenance technician, and evaluate that to be sure ours are comparable to what the market is. And then the whole system is adjusted. Typically it goes up a significant amount, and in light of what inflation has done, I assure you, when y'all do it next year, it's going to have a significant increase. And so that, to me, that's not only to resolve the problem of keeping and hiring people, do we need to do what I hope y'all will do Monday, but to take as I said, to take a bite out of that elephant rather than having to eat the whole dang elephant next year, because it's going to be I believe, and Sherry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's going to be a pretty good sized elephant next year. So I think we need to take a bite out of it now, as opposed to trying to swallow the whole thing next year. It's just my thought, and that's what I've heard from others that are supposedly smarter than me.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, I'm glad we're not in a hurry today. This is extremely important. Help me out here. Raises. How much all county employees, correct me if I'm wrong, in 2022 have already received one or two more raises? You call them cost of living or whatever, right or wrong?
Not in this fiscal year, not a COLA. They all get a step raise every year based on their job, unless they're topped out.
Okay, my question is back 6 months ago, 8 months ago, whatever, didn't we approve, and then we give every employee, including the sheriff, which I think for the year, I was told by citizens that he got like a 15% pay increase from the previous year. Other employees. Now, I want to make some suggestions to you, and you already know that, you have to know this, why you're not able to fill the applications for your employees, all your department heads. You know why? Because of the welfare program at the national level that's been out there for the last 2 years roughly. People don't want to work. They don't have to work anymore. It's not that the people that are here aren't sure they need, and the good people need a pay raise. And 5 to 7 to 10% is not too much. But you know what just makes me sad? And the people I talk to, and y'all know I don't have to tell you this, I'm around about this county. I talk and listen to people. Y'all don't, for most part. But I'm telling you, there's not going to be another tax increase on people in Houston County. I can't see that happening to fill these voids that y'all talking about, because we never hear, I haven't heard a word up here today at all about the word cut. In any legitimate business, small business or corporation out here, when they have a board meeting and discuss pay raises and all the expenses and all, cuts. And I'm gonna tell you, and you can say, oh, this is George Trotter's opinion, okay? But I have people giving me feedback. When we drive by, no ill reflection on you, Mr. Kirkland, directly, but when you drive by the road and bridge, and it looks like a Walmart shopping center with vehicles, okay? Same thing in Dothan here. If you drive by the education department here and look, and they don't even have schools here on Honeysuckle anymore. I don't think they do in that building and all. It looks like Walmart North parking lot. We are loaded, the boat's loaded with employees, and we love the services, and I know they don't happen without employees. But maybe we need to look at cutting back, and I'm gonna make a suggestion, and I'm gonna sit down, Mr. Chairman. Right here at this desk coming into this building, there are two gentlemen that sit right there and 2 or 3, 4 ladies out there that is uncalled for, and the majority of the people in this county are fed up with us having to walk through an international airport type security to come in this building, that we're not afraid to come in this building, never have been afraid to come in this building, but I am sort of afraid, maybe if I was afraid at all, would be go to that library over there or some of these other buildings, or come out of a Walmart parking lot, you know, out of a Walmart. But in this building, no. But have you ever thought about the tax dollars that are tied up with 2 people sitting there full time? Basically, the people are not wanting that in Houston County. And it's not in every other county across this state and across this nation. But that's, just think, look, stop and think about where you can cut to make up some of these pay increases for good people. People that you evaluate annually and do the job, give them a pay raise. Thank you.
2 comments I'd make about what you just said. You obviously didn't hear me when I said that we're going to significantly cut all the budget requests that we got this year. I said that twice, I think. Secondly, I think everybody in this room appreciates those deputies protecting their lives. Am I wrong? All right, moving on.
Employees,
You know, they're citizens of this county too, just like you are.
sir,
They're citizens of this county, just like you are.
right. But
That is right, and that's all you
we
need to
need
say.
1 security officer in this building, period, and they're safe. They know that.
Yes, sir. You're telling me those sheriff deputies don't have a clue.
What's that now?
You said they don't have a clue.
I didn't say that. No, sir, you're lying when you said that. No, I didn't say they didn't have a clue.
As the chairman and the commission know, by law is why we have deputies at the front door, because this is a courthouse annex. And by law is why they're here.
Sir, can I make a?
No, sir, you may not.
Okay.
I figured I'd change the subject.
Good idea.
Speaking of the mic, please, sir.
He is, and please don't.
We can't hear out here,
No
sir.
more outbursts from you, okay? Go ahead.
As a department head and a citizen of Houston County, I would like to thank the commission for what they've done. And the reason is, we talk about tireless as if it's nothing. But I personally have experienced Peter and Mark, and I looked into their eyes up here, not just several nights ago, tired, worn out from sitting there, working on all these grants, all these budget, trying to cut our budgets. And I appreciate that. You commissioners that are supporting our departments, I appreciate that. I thank you for digging in. I know that you've had private meetings with the personnel department, and it means a lot to us department heads, a lot, because you hear us and you listen to us. That's respect, and you've earned our respect. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
No objection to that.
We will add that. All right, item number 8, request to approve Houston County Engineer contract renewal effective October 1st, 2022. The contract that you have before you is just like the old contract. It's just like the old contract. It's just, we just needed to renew it. It'd be effective October 1st with the new fiscal year. Unless y'all choose to terminate Barclays' contract.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, have a comment or question, please, on this.
I'm thinking. Yes, you can come make a comment.
little bit vague here. Who is the contractor?
What do you mean?
This item here
This
is
is a contract between the county engineer and the county,
between the county engineer and the county.
correct?
Oh, okay. So you're not an employee, regular employee. You contracted employee?
He's under contract.
I'm sorry?
He's under contract. As most county engineers, maybe all county engineers in the state of Alabama are.
Under contract. Okay, I didn't know that. That's good to know. So he's under contract. He's not an actual Houston County employee like she is or
No,
whoever
he
is.
is an actual county employee. He just has a contract.
Well, technically, all employees have a contract. So what's the difference? I mean, I just help me out
He
here.
has a written contract that we vote on. He has, most all county engineers around the state have a contract.
Over and above an employment agreement.
Well, nobody has an employment agreement. He has a contract.
Oh, every employee has a contract, is what you're saying. I'm still confused.
Yes, you are. Have a seat.
Thank you.
All right.
Try to find that out. Let me know the next
Item
meeting.
number 9, request to approve 2022 Rebuild Alabama Contractor Report. This is a normal and customary required by law report that we have to do. For Rebuild Alabama. You want to say something?
You got it. That's it.
Any objections to adding that to the agenda? No objection. All right, anything from the commission to be considered for the agenda? Thank you all for your diligence, your patience. What?
I mentioned something.
No. You're not signed up for privilege unless it's related to what your item was.
It's just the update on the water line situation.
On the, that we're voting on?
231, yeah, the 231.
Okay, you can go, you can respond, I mean, you can comment on that, if it's on the agenda.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to follow up. There was a question on what side of the road, the 231 water line improvements. That's going to be on the east side of the road. And there will be 3 intersection connections on the west side between the crossing and the rest area. So
There you go.
Pretty
You
much
found
these,
that out while you were sitting there. There you go, George, you found that out.
Well,
I'm the
I really
engineer.
appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
And that's in this current contract. No more cost to put those shoot those on the road, right?
Thank y'all.
Right? Is that right, Ms. Fuller?
the contract.
The expense of that is already in this budget.